And we are here today with another good topic, and we're hopping right into this one. This one today is about high income / high earning skills. So this topic even generated from me having conversations with people when it talks about niches, especially niches when it comes to coaches. Now, I'm not going to say there's not a difference in between people who don't make income, but I will tell you that there's a facade that there always is a difference, and it's not. You get what I'm saying? I know some people that make $50K a year that are much smarter, talented, intelligent, maybe capable in some ways than the people that I know that makes $250K a year, $350K a year. You get what I'm saying? Even my business owner that makes $1 million. You get what I'm saying? The two of them that I currently work with, you know, you wouldn't meet them and think that $1 million mentality, because operation levels are different. Sometimes, you know, how long you've been in it, all of that. But a lot of people think that there aren't tools or skills that you can give to both. And I'm like, that's not true. So, and then somebody was telling me, they was like, how are you going to house 6-figure plus business owners and business owners who you're still getting from $200K to $1,000, from $1,000 a month to $5,000 a month? I said, I always have. Yeah, I always have. So y'all know me. I like structure, but I do double check the rules. So we're going to talk about today high income skills and high earning skills, because these are skills that whether you are entrepreneur or whether you're on your job, these can help you. These helped me get multiple promotions when I was in the wireless industry. These helped me to be able to have the $19 million acquisition to help our company. It helped a lot. You get what I'm saying? It helped me to be the #1 revenue generating DM in the pandemic. Listen, a lot of stuff happened, and I was like, I really need to share this with my audience, talking about high income skills. So let's go into it. And the first one I'm going to talk about, y'all, is negotiations. You have to learn to negotiate. A lot of people don't know how to negotiate. And when I say negotiate, sometimes people think negotiation and they think, I just need to do the bare minimum of negotiations. Negotiations calls for a lot of patience, because this may mean you may have to say no to something just simply off the basis of making them wait. And negotiation isn't always just to get the price up. You may be negotiating time. You may be negotiating trade. You may be negotiating trade or services, but you got to know how to negotiate. Your #1 thing to understand when building your negotiation skills is that you have to communicate. You have to talk. You got to talk. And if I wanted to jump right into #2, you got to have respect. Them two go together. So you got to make sure you're respecting the party that you're talking to, and that you understanding that business is business. We're not over here arguing or anything like that. That's not negotiating. That's arguing. Negotiating is understanding where the person, the client, your partner is coming from, and understanding I have a standard of what I want to do, and I'm not moving the standard. I'm moving the terms of agreement. Ooh, that's good already. You get what I'm saying? You're not moving your standard. You're moving the terms of agreement. When you start negotiating, that is the thing to understand. Now, you do have to understand when you're talking to a party in negotiation, you got to understand if that's what they're doing to you, though. You got to know, are you talking about the terms, or are you talking about me? Because if you're talking about me and what I do, you can't go to the table with a question to that. And this is why it's so important that no matter what level you are in business or your career, for you to have confidence in you, you got to know who you are. You got to know who you are, because I'm going to tell you what you can't do at negotiations. You can't raise your value. It's good already. You cannot raise your value during a negotiation. Everything that's discussed in negotiation is what has been prior seen and what can be proven. So even when you're talking about your next steps, when you're talking about going forward, listen, you got to make sure that you understand that what you have done is what's being discussed at the table. Not this is what I might do. This is what we can potentially do. In negotiations, it's about what can you do and have you proven that. So you got to even be setting yourself up in the right place to negotiate. And a lot of times people don't understand. You got to even know, for my last point on this, you got to even know when to negotiate, and you got to know in a negotiation when not to. I've been in a place with companies where I may start at a certain price. And after we talking through the negotiations, I come in at a lower price. And the reason why I come in at a lower price is because they may have shown or experienced some value that I may have not discovered. So they didn't increase in value, but as I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it and how they handled the situation, to be honest, how they handled the situation, I may be like, you know, okay, so I may give a value. So let's say, because when you're negotiating, and here's some tangibles for you, you got a number that you go call out, that you go start with. Now, a lot of times people will call your bluff on this. Now, this one, you know, you are a good negotiator. I have said no to something because people thought, oh, if he say this price, there got to be a lower price, so let me negotiate. The fact that you negotiate a lower price may make me end the deal. But I may have already knew before I came in I wasn't going to do the deal. I'm negotiating. I have went back with jobs, even promotions, and went back later. Because what I may have did, I've one time went back on a promotion and increased my value. So, for instance, the first time they wanted me to go and take over Chicago, I gave them a number they couldn't meet. I was negotiating. I gave them a number that I knew was out of the budget. I knew it was hard to pay. Because what I was doing was I was setting up something to raise my value. So when they said, "No, well, we'll come back in and look and see," because right now we ain't finna pay that much for you to go up there. I end up going up there training them. And as I'm going up there training them, I'm turning around. What's crazy, when I did come to Dallas, the thing was they negotiated for me to go to Chicago. And then guess what they was willing to pay? That big price, because I had went back and built my value. But in that first negotiation, I was willing to say no because I knew I wasn't going to take it for no less than that. So it's not exactly always the game you think it is. It's not buying and selling sneakers. So you can't just come to the table and just instantly think to yourself, oh, this is going to be, listen, if he said 15,000, it got to be at least 13. No, it may be 15. So I hear what you're saying, but you got to be careful. It's going to go into our next one, which is being prepared and research. So we're going to go, and we're going to really kind of go to two that helps you with that. But make sure you negotiate some areas. I want to give this bonus, some areas that can negotiate better. UGC creators, I was just in a UGC live, and everybody in there was talking about getting paid $250 for a deal. I want to tell y'all something right now. I may post sometime I post once a month on the Man from Mississippi page. It's still $5,000 to get me to make a video. One. And don't get it twisted. I know some of y'all like, but Matt, you dominate, you talent. You know, you talented. You know the people who coming to you. You know, listen. No, I know my price, I know my value, and I know my market. But that's going to lead us into number two, okay? All right, so hopping into number two, and we're going to do number two and number three back-to-back right here in the how to learn and grow your high income and high earning skills. So number one, of course, was negotiating. Now, let's talk about being prepared. So you got to be prepared. Right outside of your negotiation, you got to be prepared. This means you need to be studying. And not only do you need to study, you need to know how to apply. And when you come to a negotiating table or you want to be a high income earner, you got to be super at applying. You get what I'm saying? But listen, somebody may be applying and you may be applying, but applying in the right time slot. So study, apply, and make sure that you're getting that done in a proper and accurate time space is a big difference, y'all. Listen, one of my favorite movies is called Too Big to Fail. And Too Big to Fail, they follow Henry Paulson, who used to be the Secretary of Treasury for the U.S. government, right? And he Treasury Secretary. I don't know why I said that backwards. But yeah, Henry Paulson, at this time, he's facing the crisis of this is when all the bailouts are happening, all of that, 2008. And Lehman Brothers, the bank, is finna close. They finna go bankrupt. You get what I'm saying? And it's sinking fast. And one of the scenes, one of my favorite scenes, is when they get together, they put together this awesome plan. They brought all the other bankers together and bank leaders and CEOs together to do it. And then it ended up not being able to be done. And one of the tactics, they went through a couple of them, but in this specific tactic, the reason why it couldn't be done was because it was going to take too long. Some of y'all, you're lacking certain levels in your success, progress, whatever it is that you want to do, because it go take too long. Not only will sometimes the plan take too long, you take too long. You take too long to do it. I got a video on my TikTok that I posted about a pink hoodie. It's been over 24 hours at the point of me making this video. And in that video, I was telling them how the place I got this pink hoodie from don't sell it no more. I finna post this on my fashion brand page. People love to go buy the stuff off my fashion brand page that I have on. That's my top relationship with them, is I show them where they can actually get it. It's been over 24 hours. I got fashion brands who know me and around me. Nobody's made a video. Nobody has stitched it. Nobody has went and said, let me show you. Now, there's a few people in the comments, but what is that? It takes too long. Somebody told me they were going to make the video next week. That takes too long. I'm not waiting the next week to post this. That's another week. That's another 7 days, 5 days that we haven't gotten it sold. You could have been selling whatever pink you had, whatever pink hoodies. You could have had 15, 20, 30, 45, 60 of them by the time next week comes. So it's all in being prepared, y'all. What are you negotiating? What are you selling? What are you presenting? You got to be prepared. And this is also why you need a great forecaster around you. Everybody needs it. Even when we think biblically, right? Every king had a prophet. Every king had a prophet. Because you need to not only be able to hear from God, you need somebody that can hear from God on what's next. I ain't talking about just the history. I ain't talking about just the stories. I ain't talking about just to pray for me. I need somebody who know what's coming tomorrow. In business, it's a very small sense of that, but it's the same thing. You need a forecaster. You need somebody who's checking the market, who's looking through the market, who's looking through the climate of what's happening and say, hey, we need to start doing this. Hey, we need to start doing that. Let me tell y'all something. Whoever Jeff Bezos' forecaster is, probably is a prophet. Because let me tell y'all something about Jeff Bezos, and we're going to go to the next one. This is the biggest of being prepared. So Jeff Bezos, around about 2016, 17, started buying up all these carriers, especially in 17. He boosted it in 18. He buying up all carrier containers. And back then, they cheap as all get out. I mean, literally, some of them less than a few $100s. You can buy them junk $50 for a carrier container. And he buying them up. Then he started buying up malls and all of these places. So we start to see the growth of fulfillment centers. So he's buying properties, closed down malls and stuff and making them. But this was the genius. When the pandemic happened, everybody who's on the West Coast who know about shipping knows that if you looked out deep enough where the ports were, it's ships everywhere. I'm talking about ships all in the water. I'm talking about hundreds of them. Because they can't dock. Nobody's working to unload the ships. So at this time, of course, you trying to get new ships. As we going, it's pandemonium trying to get stuff in the country. Well, guess who happened to own the most storage containers in the country? Jeff Bezos. We thought the man was a retail business. He was a logistics business. Also, I bet y'all didn't know this. Amazon was doing flights for Lowe's, Walmart, a couple companies, Home Depot. So the stuff that they couldn't get in because all them ain't got planes. They use third-party companies. When them third-party companies couldn't get them, Jeff Bezos said, I got a couple planes going over there. I got a couple planes going over there. Rent you some space. Probably was an extra $1 billion right there. All right, so let's go into this next one. The next one is study your market, right? So we kind of just talked about that in being prepared. You got to study your market. You got to know what's coming. You got to know what's missing. Matter of fact, your creative should be wrapped around how well you study your market. When it comes down to you doing business, how well do you study your market? How well do you know it? If you sell jewelry, you need to know the market of jewelry. If you sell hats, you need to know the market of hats. You need to know what's going, what's moving in your market. This more than anything helps you know when to invest and when to not. Once again, high income skill, high earning skill. Even when you're on a job, when you know information, you're more powerful and you're paid more. You get what I'm saying? Because you know the information, even like how we've been talking about negotiation. When you know contracts, I know how much you paid them. Well, I did my research. I studied my market. And listen, here's a super gem for you. In studying your market, this is where you also have relationships. I have relationships just based off of market. You get what I'm saying? Right now, I'm a coach. So you may see me knowing and mingling with coaches the most. Business owners, high performing, high earning business owners. Because that's me studying my market. And I got these relationships now. That information is easily to be passed through me. And I create value because now I'm giving information to people who know it. So I don't talk to a lot of people from the wireless industry anymore because I can't grow my value in that industry. That's not my market. But coaching, business growth, you get what I'm saying, is my market. So guess what? I know the people in my market because those relationships, listen, can give me some knowledge that sometimes I didn't have time to get out the book. Or I don't know what book they got it from, but read your book. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what podcast or YouTube that they watched this on, but somebody else did. So if I can get the gems, I want to replace that. Not even just the gems, real live information. So not just a quick tip that you can go and run with. Because once again, some of y'all, you don't make time. Some of y'all have never sat down or you don't go sit down. This is in studying your market too. You don't go sit down where people are doing it at. So the furthest you get is the free tips on social media. But that's like a person watching a McDonald's commercial and saying, I've studied this McDonald's commercial so much that I'm pretty sure I can make a commercial for McDonald's. You can, but it's not going to be better than the person who talked to all the time, the person who made the McDonald's commercial, the Wendy commercial, the got doggone Whataburger commercial, the got doggone Jack in the Box commercial, the Taco Bell commercials. You get what I'm saying? So now you can't compete, much less can you dominate. And if you can't dominate, you can't guarantee your money. You can't. Because you know nothing or you know very little about your market. Even as a worker, if you're a boss and all of what you do goes into your work and your skills, I promise you, you're the poorest version of the person that's running in the industry. You're the poorest version of that. You got to use your brain. When you're a boss, you got to understand this got to go beyond muscle. This got to go beyond just what I can do. I can do a lot, but I'm limited to just being a content creator. But me to being able to have a content coach that can teach content for me. Oh, now I'm a G. I'm straight on a whole nother level. And I still can use my skill to show you, but when I don't have time to show you, guess what? Having UGC creators around me, having Ursula, the content coach, around me, having people that can both do it, show it to you, and can teach it to you. Now I'm in a whole different place. I'm on a whole nother level. You get what I'm saying? So you gotta study your market. You gotta, once again, take what you know, you're applying it, you're moving it. Listen. And everything's getting done the way you need it to be getting done. All right, so now we're down to owning your craft, talking about how to build high income and high earning skills. And this one is honor your craft and hone in on your craft. And this is why. I'm going to use the coaching industry and digital product and service base as an example, right? The people who don't honor the craft are people who are just sellers and marketers, but they don't do it, or they don't have the value of it. They did it for themselves one time, and then they've been selling it. So people have been selling marketing through marketing. People have been selling digital products to digital products makers. So these type of businesses don't last as long because they aren't established. And a lot of time they're malnourished. They don't have no good feeding in them because ain't nobody been doing it long enough. Everybody who's in this group, in this pile, is a bunch of folks that just know how to sell it. And then when that happens, it devalues the industry because nobody's honing in on their craft. So it devalues the industry. So now people don't want to get involved with it as much because now you have this, when you do that, you create a 1% industry, which is bad for anything. 1% industries and 1% markets, even 1% economies are bad for everything and everybody because it makes the people turn on you. It makes the people turn on the industry. It makes people turn on governments. It makes people turn on celebrities. You can't be walking around and I'm getting rich, but only 1% of the people of what I gave it to was successful. Then you got this excuse that well, it was the people that did the work. No, because I know people in your program who did the work. It wasn't much instructions. It wasn't much substance there. There was no help. There was no assistance. And the goal was not for them to be successful. The goal was for you to get paid and just deliver on the product. Just deliver. And that's what we do. We turn services into products, and then it looks like a service-based business, but it's not, because they gave you an ebook. That's a product. It's just still a digital product. They gave you just a manuscript. It's a product. You get what I'm saying? But there's no education. There's no teaching. And even if you're a seller, you got to stop being cheap and hire somebody to be the teacher. But once again, if you're not a boss, if you don't honor your craft, you don't do that. You just glad it got sold and you say, this was my business. What you are is the new version of an Avon lady. Is what you are. What you are is you Slim Fast. You the Slim Fast seller. Slim Fast. Just in case y'all don't understand what I'm saying. You Avon Slim Fast. You Mary Kate. You get what I'm saying? Paparazzi jewelry. You get what I'm saying? That's what you are. Of the digital, but you call yourself now a digital product maker. You call yourself whatever the niche that you put on top of that digital product. But there's no substance behind you whatsoever. Listen, you are a pyramid scheme. You are let's go on vacationsnow.com. That's what you are. And is it when you don't own your craft, you don't develop high income skills because you think that the money you getting from lack of results is some money. But you're never able to turn that $120,000 a year, that $220,000 a year. You're never able to flip the decade on that. You can't flip the decade on it. What do you mean, Matt? You never, even if it took you 10 years, you can't go from the hundreds of thousands to the millions. Why? Because you didn't own in on your craft. It hasn't existed long enough. Don't you know? Listen, the $100,000 loans may be given off a good plan and one good person. $1 million loans, baby, to make sure that you can produce $1 million operation of your business. Listen, it's given by the longevity of your business. You can't walk in there and tell me something, I want $1 million. They're going to say, how long your business been here? Oh, I started 3 years ago in the pandemic. You can have 100. You know, maybe that. You can have 100, but you can't have no million. Yeah. No, you got to walk in there, saying, listen, I'm from Johnson Financial. You get what I'm saying? We've been here 20, 30 years. You get what I'm saying? We've been serving our community for over 14 years, since 2009. You get what I'm saying? Now they're going to be interested. They're less interested in the plan because there's now more validity that you've been able to do it. So you got to understand, you got to own in on your craft. And a lot of times people don't want to do that because they don't want to hone on their craft. Honing on your craft, even in the smallest level, is how many times have you researched it? How many are you? And let me tell you something. When you honoring your craft, there's an obsession that lives there. I have an obsession with seeing businesses grow. I have an obsession with seeing businesses be able to do what they've never been able to do before. Business owners to be able to get things when they walk in the room that they didn't even see because they was only focused on the door. You get what I'm saying? So do you have an obsession that makes you honor your craft? There are certain things I don't do because of my craft. You get what I'm saying? So for a long time, I didn't sell a course. I still don't sell an ebook. You get what I'm saying? And yeah, people were getting money off of it, but I don't chase everything that get money because I'm the real, authentic what I do. I'm head honcho. You get what I'm saying? If there's a prison and you put me in it, let me tell you something. Listen, them people, I am not locked in there with them. They locked in here with me. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know this. I understand this. I really came to do this. You get what I'm saying? And likely can do what everybody else who say they are what I am can do it with my eyes closed. I can train up a better version of what you are. Why? Because I've honored my craft. I've honored my craft. And I've also taken the chance of putting my craft on the market for comparison. So I know we have a lot of conversations about stop comparing yourself. Yeah, when it gives you insecurity. But if you can't build something and put it out there in the market for competitive marketing and to see if the people like that more than they like yours. If you make bread and you're not confident in putting it next to Sara Lee, it ain't good enough. If you make bread and you're not confident enough to put it next to Lil Bunny, you ain't good enough. You get what I'm saying? Because you got to understand, Lil Bunny and Sara Lee still finna sell more than you because they got 15 to 20 to 35, 45 years since I've been a little boy walking to the Lil Bunny store to get some bread. They been there. So we got to stop this cap, especially new business owners coming into this. I feel like I can be as big as these folks that's in Walgreens. I feel like my body butter can be as big or as good as Dawn Soap and all that. Listen. Dawn Soap out here halfway destroying people, and they still gonna make more money than you. And the research is there. Dawn, Dove, all of them. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make you any higher or less. Listen, and I'm going to say this and we're going to go to the next one. Stop wishing. This is where you also honor your craft. Stop wishing before your craft is honed in on that you can get your products in Target. Because you're not going to make no money. So there's a trend out January 2024 when I'm making this about get my products in Target. Tag Target. Tag Target. Don't tag Target. They are not interested. Now, don't get me wrong. Target is one of the most active large brands in looking for and finding what it is that you want to build. But you're not going to make no money. You're going to get paid 40 cents per sale. And that's if the product is $10. Honor your craft. Honor your craft instead. And you may not even be selling soap. You may be running the soap manufacturer or finder for Target. You make more money. All right. The next one is being creative, y'all. So listen. Being creative. When you are growing your high income, high earning skills, you have to be creative. So being creative helps you to be able to grow and learn every single thing that it is that you want to do. Listen, nobody likes the boring version of anything. But I want to talk to y'all about this part of being creative. You have to go to places for inspiration. People who think they can just sit and think, you're only going to go by what you've recently been seeing. I will watch. There are certain movies that I watch. There are certain places that I go, both in my city, out of my city, in my state, out of my state, to find and do inspiration because I become more creative that way. You get what I'm saying? More colorful. The people who you hang around. There's activities that you can and have to do to inspire and be and do more creativity when it comes down to what you do. Creativity makes money. It makes income. It makes increase. So in all of these, the increase likely comes from creative. Now, you do have to know the other ones, negotiation and all of that. But creative is the thing that gets you the attention to show your performance, especially when you've been honoring and honing in on your craft. How you know that that's going to work great and amazing for you is when you're being creative. When you are making sure that creativity does exactly what it is that it needs to do. You get what I'm saying? So make sure that you're being creative. I feel like I don't have to overly bear and go too deep on that one. All right, last one right here. And this is probably my favorite one. When people used to ask me what was my true skill, that was a lot of things I learned. But when people used to ask me what was my true skill to getting all of these promotions that I got when I was in corporate, and it was the ability to do more than everybody else. And in doing that, I call that pace. I'm a person, I like watching MMA. So in MMA, knockout power would seem like it's king, but you got to remember this is not boxing. And even in boxing, this term of this analogy I'm about to use still stands true. The person who has the longer, more powerful career is not the most powerful person, not the fastest person. That's like in your creative, right? It's the person that can put on the longest pace. Floyd Mayweather is, really listed as one of the best boxers and one of the greatest boxers, especially the one with the best record and made the most money because of his pace. You get what I'm saying? The number of fights he was able to do consecutively, the number of championships he was able to defend, and he could go all those rounds with you before getting tired, before his arms started to drop. You get what I'm saying? Before his guard started to drop, Floyd was able to keep up with the pace. So a lot of time, we think we can go off desire, but desire is always going to be a loser to how well in shape you are to do this. I'm able to sit here and shoot this podcast because I'm in shape. I'm in shape. Listen, me being able to do this, me having this wind to blow on you like this, let me tell you something. This comes from, getting up early and working out. This comes from being around people who can continue to pour into me as I pour into them. This comes from seeing results. Because let me tell y'all something that would discourage you more than anything. And sometimes people don't even notice this or they don't see it. But sometimes you are not accomplishing everything that you want to accomplish just for the simple fact that your energy is getting lower because the goals you keep setting, you keep missing them. This the problem with if you make 10x goals all the time. I love the 10x method. But if you keep on failing and you keep on coming short and you never have that celebration, you never become one of those celebration people, you actually could have been greater. Even for my successful people, with your cocky self, you could have been greater. You don't want to know why you wasn't? You ran out of gas. You want to know why you ran out of gas? You didn't know how to celebrate yourself. You didn't know how to allow pleasure to replace pressure. Ooh, that's so good. You didn't know how to allow pleasure to replace pressure. Some of y'all, you like, I work great under pressure. But that's sad because you don't work great under pleasure. That means that you're not delivering on your top performance. Because you acknowledge the battle and not the win. And that's two different people. There are some people, they acknowledge more what they've been through. You know why their whole thing is about what they've been through? Because that's all they got. Different ones of us, we can sit down and the sentence is much shorter of what we went through. The story is much shorter because we just say, listen, my name is Matt Naylor. And in 2020 and 2021, I was the highest grossing, sales executive for a wireless industry. Yeah. I have the most consistent top 5 rankings. Most consistent top 3 rankings. Yeah. I produced the most amount of revenue in the pandemic. One of the only people in a plus in the millions when it come down to sales. You get what I'm saying? Supplied my city with rims and tires when I worked at the rim and tire shop. I designed some of the best kitchens that's known to man when I was selling kitchen supply. Yeah, even the models that are in the stores. You know who designed that for 3 years? I did. So I'm so good I designed the samples. Some people's they story is what they went through. Because what they went through was the champion. They was the challenger. But you become dominant when you can put on a pace and you can say, listen, I'm the best content creator in the world. 5 years straight. It's a difference. Listen, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Listen, Viral the Virtual with the Bricks. And listen, make sure that you are in the DFW March 16th and 17th. Listen, for March Madness marketing event, you can come sit down with us, be hands-on, learn what you need to learn, be active, come meet me. I'm going to have B Budgeted there with me. I'm going to have Ursula Heavy on the content with me. Listen, So I will see you there. Make sure you leave something dope for me in the comments. And remember, this episode will be premiering. Listen, every Monday we coming to you with it. We got some interviews coming soon, in person and both virtual. But no matter what, we giving you this sauce every single Monday. 2024 is our year, baby. And beat life. Don't let life beat you.